Hey everyone, and welcome. Get ready because today's explainer is going to be an absolute eye-opener. We are going to completely demystify the journey of making money online. We'll be walking through a proven step-by-step framework that was originally mapped out by self-made millionaire Mark Tilbury. Now, Mark spent years testing, failing, and refining these strategies. We're talking losing millions and making millions, all to figure out exactly what actually works in the modern digital economy. And today, we're taking all of that hard-won knowledge and distilling it directly for you. We're going to explore the early hurdles, the exact AI strategies you can use literally today, and most importantly, I'm going to reveal the highly anticipated pivotal final stage of this framework. It's the secret sauce that separates the absolute elite from, well, everybody else. Let's get into it. Okay, so take a look at the core concept here. This is the online wealth wheel. And the single most important thing to wrap your head around right now is that whether you realize it or not, you are already on this wheel. The entire journey is broken down into four very distinct stages. First, we've got a massive 55% of people who are stuck in the never start phase. After that, 28% are trapped in the failing stage. Then we see only 16% actually reaching the successful stage. And finally, you have that tiny, tiny sliver, less than 1%, who make it to the elite. Throughout this explainer, we are going to dive into the stark realities of every single one of these percentiles and tell you exactly what it takes to jump to the next level. Here is our roadmap for today. We're going to start at the 55% starting line, figure out how to escape the failing trap, map out a concrete AI e-commerce strategy, unpack the 4 steps to success, and finally, unlock that elite level. All right, kicking things off with stage 1, the 55% starting line, where the immediate focus is overcoming the single paycheck danger. Listen, the harsh reality today is that relying on a single paycheck is more dangerous than ever. We all feel it, right? Inflation is making absolutely everything more expensive. Having a side hustle isn't just some fun little hobby anymore. It is becoming essential. Yet 55% of people never even start. Why is that? Well, because the online space is an absolute jungle. It's incredibly overwhelming for beginners, just completely flooded with ads pushing unproven methods that do nothing but confuse people. To break out of this 55%, you've got to realistically choose a path. If you have a high-income skill like video editing, coding, or graphic design, you can sell that. But if you don't have those skills, or maybe you just really don't want to deal with managing clients, you need to look at product-based businesses. And that brings us perfectly to stage 2, escaping the failing trap and breaking through that frustrating $50 a month ceiling. Marx classifies a failing side hustle as earning less than $50 a month online. And honestly, it's heartbreaking, but 28% of people are trapped right here. But here is the absolutely crucial point. It is almost never the business model's fault. Actually, scratch that. The real culprit is shiny object syndrome. This is a massive psychological hurdle. It happens when you jump from drop shipping one week to print on demand the next week, then over to Amazon KDP, and hey, maybe you dabble in trading stocks after that. The crazy thing is, all of those methods actually work, but they require deep, focused time and commitment. Constantly bouncing around practically guarantees you will never gain real traction in any of them. It just becomes this endless cycle. You abandon your progress the exact second things get a little difficult, just to start completely fresh somewhere else. Think about that classic analogy of the gold miner. They tirelessly dig through the dirt, pushing through all that resistance until they finally strike rich. The people who abandon their progress right before they hit gold are just wasting all their initial effort. You have to recognize this dangerous pattern in yourself, pick just one scalable method that fits your budget and your lifestyle, and relentlessly stick to it. So you might be wondering, what is the best method to stick to? Let's map out the AI e-commerce strategy where we focus on building a highly automated foundation. If you don't have a high-income skill, e-commerce has historically been one of the absolute strongest plays. But beginners are often terrified of holding physical inventory or getting bogged down in complex setups. Well, modern AI completely eliminates those fears with a very simple 3-step workflow. Step 1, you use a free tool called buildyourstore.ai. You just pick a niche, say tech or pets, and the AI literally chooses winning products and designs a professional store for you in minutes. Step 2, that store syncs directly with Shopify, which grants you a 3-month trial for just $1 a month. And step 3, you integrate AutoDS. Think of AutoDS like the autopilot system on a commercial airplane. It imports your products, updates the pricing, and actually ships the orders directly to your customers. You never even touch the inventory. You get to just focus on making sales while the autopilot handles the entire backend. And when you free yourself up to focus purely on driving traffic, the math gets really exciting. Let's run some quick numbers. Imagine using free platforms like TikTok to create a buzz around your product. If you get just 100,000 free views on a video and a tiny, super conservative 1% of those viewers buy a $10 product, that is $10,000 in revenue. By choosing an automated model, you give yourself the mental bandwidth to focus purely on marketing, which is exactly how you break out of that failing side hustle trap. Once you hit that stride, you officially enter stage 3, the 4 steps to success, where you're earning up to $10,000 a month. Keep in mind, only 16% of people make it to the successful tier. So what exactly is their operational playbook? What are they doing differently than the people who fail? We can distill their actions into 4 core pillars: defining the target audience, maintaining consistency, showing instead of telling, and building social proof. Let's break down exactly how you can execute each one of these starting today. Step 1 is absolutely vital. You have to stop casting a wide net. A lot of beginners think that trying to appeal to everyone will automatically get them more sales. But in reality, if you try to appeal to everyone, you end up appealing to absolutely no one. You need to grab a notepad and explicitly write down your ideal customer. What is their exact age? What are their specific struggles? What kind of content do they consume? Because it is always easier to grab someone's attention by speaking directly to their specific problems than it is to just shout at a massive crowd and cross your fingers that somebody happens to be listening. Let's move on to step 2, which is all about building momentum. You must put consistency over perfection. Most people go all in for a few weeks, they're fueled by this burst of motivation, and then they completely vanish when they don't see instant results. Listen to me. You do not need to work 12-hour days or wake up at 5 a.m. to be in this 16%. You really don't. You just need relentless, small, daily marketing actions. Post daily to stay visible. Engage with every single comment to build trust. Constantly test new images and product descriptions. It's those small, daily tweaks that have a massive impact over time. Step 3 is show, don't tell. Let's think about a custom gaming controller for a second. A terrible marketing strategy is just posting some random gameplay clip with a link in your bio. You're assuming the customer is going to connect the dots themselves. Spoiler alert, they won't. Instead, what the top 16% do is show the controller right up close. They point out the extra paddles on the back. They explicitly translate those physical features into clear user benefits, explaining exactly how those paddles speed up reaction times and give players a real edge in competitive matches. If a customer cannot immediately grasp how your product benefits them, they are simply not going to buy it. And step 4 is all about securing immediate trust through social proof. Look, people have been burned by bad online purchases before. We've all seen a product arrive in the mail that looks absolutely nothing like the picture online, right? An online store with no social proof is basically like a fitness program with no before and after photos and no testimonials. Nobody is going to spend their hard-earned money on it. If you are just starting out, order your own product. Record an authentic unboxing video, ask your friends and family to test it out, and leave honest reviews. You absolutely must show real people using your product. All right, we are finally here. You've built a solid foundation, you're making sales, and you've achieved success. But there is one final frontier. Stage 4, reaching the elite level and unlocking that pivotal final stage. This level is shockingly rare. I'm talking about less than 1% of people who start making money online ever reaching this height. The people here aren't just making a living anymore, they are building serious wealth. And what is incredible is that the difference between the 16% who are merely successful and the 1% who are elite really comes down to a single operational word. That word is reinvesting. The real power of money is using it to make even more money. A lot of people think the ultimate goal of a side hustle is to make early profits so they can immediately go out and buy luxury items, or just dump it all into passive stocks. Elite entrepreneurs, they don't do that. When you are just starting out, the absolute greatest asset you have is your own business. Unlike the stock market where you just sit back and wait passively, you have total absolute control over the growth of your side hustle. The 1% aggressively reinvest their initial profits right back into the machine. And they do this systematically across 3 main pillars. First, upgrading tools. Once you're making sales, you reinvest in software that saves you time and automates even more of your workload. Second, buying traffic. The elite do not sit around waiting for the social media algorithms to bless them. They buy ads, they test new content ideas with a budget, and they pay small influencers to get their product in front of the exact right audience. Third, outsourcing tasks. Instead of trying to do every single thing alone, they might pay someone on Fiverr to design a pristine logo or hire a friend to film better social media content. By deploying your very first profits straight back into these 3 pillars, you pull so far ahead of the 99% of the competition who are busy spending their money on new shoes. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this provocative thought. Which stage of the online wealth wheel are you currently trapped on? Are you part of the 55% who haven't started because the whole thing just feels overwhelming? Or are you in the 28%, bouncing around between shiny objects? Take a second to honestly assess your position right now, because once you identify exactly where you are, you can use the steps we covered today to finally break out and start moving toward that top 1%. Don't just listen to this and move on with your day. Commit to your framework today. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.